Hey guys, welcome to the Movie Champs Show. My name is Walker Cheatham, and with me tonight I have...
EJ Flemming.
And, well, this is episode 27.
Yes, it is.
27 of the Movie Champs Show. Always doing what we can to make improvements here. Got some more audio improvements in this episode that I'm hoping are noticeable.
Very noticeable.
They're
indeed.
noticeable on my end anyway, and that's exciting.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, on this episode we're going to be I don't know what that is. Talking about, or we have some news stories anyway. We have two news stories that we're going to be discussing. Some more movies being pushed back for their release dates. We have just some non-exclusive images for an upcoming shark movie. We have two trailer reviews. One of them I'm kind of excited about, and it came out of nowhere. And then we got 3 movie reviews. So we got a pretty good episode, it looks like, so far.
Yes.
Especially some of the movies we're going to be talking about tonight.
Yes, very much so.
Those are going to be a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Anyways, there's something we were going to talk about that we're going to announce real quick. I just can't remember what it was. Well, we're going to be doing a series of videos over the next 3 weeks.
Yes, that's what it is.
Relating to the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I'm really excited to actually have this deep dive that we're going to be doing into all 3 phases so far of the Marvel Cinematic Universe.
Especially considering that Phase 3 technically isn't done yet.
Right. So Phase 3, we're going to be technically leading up to Phase 3. We're going to start with Phase 1 this weekend.
Yes.
The next weekend we'll do Phase 2, and then we'll finish up Phase 3 as soon as we see the Avengers Age of... the Avengers... What are they called?
Infinity War. We've already seen Age of Ultron.
I'm so glad there's other people on this show besides myself.
As soon as you started to say Age, I'm like, wait.
Age of what? We have Avengers 4's title out so far? No. Okay, so Avengers 3 or Avengers Infinity War. This is why I'm not the Geek Champs.
That's why I'm here. To keep him in check when he makes mistakes like that.
Yes. So, like I said, we're excited. We're going to be talking about every movie phase by phase over the next 3 weeks, and I am super excited about that. Because it gave me some time to revisit some of these movies, which is always fun to be able to revisit some movies that you like and some that you may not have liked. And just figure out, again, just see it through fresher eyes. And it's just exciting. So be on the lookout for those videos when they come out this week. So probably this weekend, hopefully. Anyways, let's go ahead and move to our first news story, which is Terminator reboot has had its release date pushed back. So the next Terminator movie will be arriving later than expected. According to The Hollywood Reporter, the Terminator reboot will hit theaters November 22nd, 2019. The film was originally scheduled to premiere on July 26th, 2019. EJ, how does this news hit you? How do you like it? What do you think of this?
Yeah, it's news.
It's news. It's not. It's
like I haven't seen anything on the movie. I just know that they're making it. So
yeah, I mean, if the last Terminator movie that we had watched was something really exciting, and we're now,
granted,
the news of this movie is more exciting than the last couple movies have been.
Granted, I actually did enjoy Genesis.
Really? Okay, you are the one guy that enjoyed Genesis.
Because the reason, but I was still mad at Genesis because the trailer spoiled everything.
Oh yeah, okay.
That Genesis would have been treated with so much better had that twist not been shown in the first trailer.
Yeah, I agree, but it is still garbage to me. And so were the ones prior to that, since Terminator 2, really.
Okay, I will say this. Terminator 1, classic. Terminator 2, classic. Terminator 3, good. Salvation.
It didn't even feel like a Terminator movie to me.
And maybe that was what they were trying to try something different with it. Was there another one after Salvation?
Nope. After Salvation, it was Genesis. That's it. And then, unless you count those Jenny whatever Chronicles shows.
The Sarah Connor
Sarah
Chronicles?
Chronicles. Yeah.
That show was actually good.
It was good.
I'm sad that show is gone.
But
actually, I can't say that they haven't made a terrible Terminator movie. They just have not made good Terminator movies after 2.
Well, I will say I own every Terminator movie besides Genesis, and that's for a reason. But either way, there hasn't been a good one in my opinion since Terminator 2, and like I said, the news for this movie is more exciting than anything. But I'm still
on the fence.
On the fence about whether or not I even care that it's being pushed back. It's just 3 months. It's nothing.
It sounds like they're running from something.
More than likely, what are they? What is that? That's around the time Avengers 4 is coming out.
Avengers 4 is coming out in May next year.
May. Okay, so that's not even close to that time. I don't know, but either
way. But you take into account that usually when they release a Marvel movie in May, they got something following up in July. Case in point, this year, Avengers in May, Ant-Man in July.
Well, for the fact that this is a James Cameron produced film, and I think he wrote. I don't know if he helped write this movie. He was part of the writers' room for this movie. He oversaw the writing for the movie anyway. Mm-hmm. He really likes the end of the year. He Avatar was in December. I believe Titanic was either November or December. So for his epics, he really likes it to be towards the end of the year. He's never been a summer movie guy. So that might be one of the reasons.
Maybe because he feels like
around that time
he's more comfortable around that time of year, less competition,
and it's before Star Wars. Star Wars has moved back to May, hasn't it?
Yeah. The final one's in May now.
Okay, so
the current new.
Well, maybe that's it. There's no more Star Wars, or not going to be a Star Wars in that year anyway.
So he's felt like, well, we can take that slot over.
Yeah, we can take over the Star Wars slot. I was usually would own that end of the year slot.
Yeah,
so maybe that's probably more of the reason. Mm-hmm. There's going to be a lot coming out next in 2019 in the summer.
Who's releasing this Terminator movie?
I don't know. It's one like Universal, one of those.
It's a movie studio because the Terminator rights are all over the place.
Yeah, they're all over the place.
Because the first one was with MGM. The second one was.
Oh, you're right. I don't know.
The third one was Warner Brothers. The Salvation was Warner Brothers. The Genesis was Paramount.
Oh, maybe it's Paramount. It might be Paramount. I don't know. I don't care. But either way, yeah. I think it's just James Cameron's comfort zone is usually right there at the end of the year, and he doesn't want that Terminator movie to get mixed up or just get lost in the shuffle of whatever's going to be released that summer.
Mm-hmm.
I should have looked up to see what was coming out around that time, but either way, maybe this might be something to do with to give them some room for reshoots if they need it.
Yeah, maybe.
So I don't know, but either way,
I'm
fine. I'm okay with it. It's just news, guys. It doesn't have to always be exciting.
Yeah, they moved the date back 4 months.
Yeah. And that news, there's so many better things we're going to be talking about this episode. But
we just had to get that one out the way.
We had to get that out there because it's news.
It is news, and we are a news show too.
This next story isn't any more exciting than that. It's less exciting, actually.
Yeah.
We have our first look at just the Meg, which is releasing June 1st of this year. Supposedly, we're getting a trailer sometime this coming week.
Next weekend with Rampage.
Yeah, it should be coming out possibly with the Rampage movie. And I am no more excited about this than I have been. You've been watching this show for any certain period of time, you know I don't care about this, the Meg movie.
The Meg looks stupid.
We have John Turteltaub directing, who's less than stellar director. We have Jason Statham starring in it, which is probably the most interesting thing about it. But still, that's more good for him than it is for me.
Yeah.
I like Jason Statham when he's acting with people that I know and care about, like The Rock or something. But I know he's the most famous person in this entire movie, which is a problem. So when you put the Jason Statham front and center, it's not always the best thing.
Nah.
So
he's really good in supporting roles.
oh yeah.
Or like or it's kept to a very limited role.
When we talk about who needs a career makeover, I think Jason Statham is, because he's got the acting chops. It's just the roles he chooses to take is always the Jason Statham type. He needs a new type to become, just to kind of just shake things up a little bit. He showed his comedic chops in in Spy, which is an okay movie. And a little bit of what the chemistry he has with The Rock in these Fast and Furious movies is really good, which is why they're getting their own movie, which I'm excited about. I'm way more excited about the Hobbs movie than I am about the Meg movie.
And then one person who isn't excited about the Hobbs movie is Tyrese, but we won't get into
that. No, we will not. But yeah, this maybe this trailer will get me more excited. But like I said, we haven't really gotten a good look at the shark, and like I don't need another shark movie. This is just a bigger shark. So what?
Depends on how big the shark is.
And it's a PG-13 shark movie, which I definitely don't care about. I want to see some carnage in a shark movie.
Well, with it being creature violence, they kind of let that
They do let that slide a little bit, man.
You got to think about it. Jurassic Park kind of lets a lot of things slide because they're just technically just animals eating.
Yeah.
So it's not like it's like a monster doing it. It's nature in a way. So it's kind of like, well, we show this on National Geographic. If we took this human out and replaced it with a different animal, it'd be on National Geographic.
Even though we talked about this last week about Steven Spielberg saying he never wants to revisit his work again, would it make you more excited if you heard this was a Jaws reboot by Steven Spielberg? Would that spark your interest a little bit more? Because we've just seen so many, like, sci-fi movie. There's a new shark movie almost every week on sci-fi.
Yeah, we need something to wash the taste of Jaws 3 and 4 out of our mouths.
Yeah.
2 was okay, but 1 and 3 and 4?
Yeah.
Just look at this scene in Jaws 3 of the shark breaking the window.
Oh, I've seen that.
That's all you need to know about Jaws 3.
But yeah, I don't need another shark movie. And I definitely don't really need Jason Statham with sharks. If it was The Rock with sharks, that might be a little bit more interesting.
Hey, they gotta say something for Rampage 2 if this is a hit.
Yeah. Okay.
You gotta take into account that you only have George, Ralph, and Lizzie in this one. You still gotta add the aliens that were in the sequel.
All right. I'm gonna go ahead and move on. We've already talked about the Meg too much.
Yeah, yes. June 1st.
June 1st, look out for the Meg.
But hey, if you want to send us some free Meg merchandise, we'll rock it,
Yeah.
Hey.
We may have just gotten ourselves a copyright claim from them just for talking trash about them.
So you know what?
If you haven't checked out our Instagram or Twitter, by the way, check out the Movie Champs Instagram and Twitter to see some of the garbage that has been happening with certain studios over the last week that I've been dealing with. It's kind of insane.
Oh, Night Hippie Chick says hi, guys.
Hey, Night Hippie Chick. I see you said hey back on the
chat. I got the chat on my phone too, so we can roll and rock with this thing tonight.
All right, so let's go ahead and move on to our trailer reviews. And this one was the one I mentioned earlier that I was excited about, and that is called Upgrade. In the near future, technology controls nearly all aspects of life. Within this setting, a technophobe avenges his wife's murder and his own paralysis-causing injury with the help of an experimental computer chip implanted called STEM. Now, this was a trailer that came out of nowhere. I saw sometimes there are some trailers that will pop up in my subscription feed because I subscribe to all of the trailer channels. That I sometimes I'll skip over them because they look ridiculous, and I thought Upgrade looked kind of ridiculous, but I gave it a shot and checked out that trailer. And I am now. This is something I'm really excited about. You watched it too, right?
Yeah. I watched both the green and red bands, and I was like,
yeah, I saw the red band one. I don't think I saw the green band one.
No, if you saw the red band one, you saw the good one.
Okay, good.
Because they cut all the stuff that made the Red Man good gets cut.
Yeah, this is kind of like a Terminator meets not Jason Bourne, John Wick style looking movie.
I would not say Terminator. I would say more so. This is more.
Maybe
this is more like a more cleaner, more like what RoboCop would be now.
Okay, yeah, RoboCop. Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
Because back in the '80s, he would, if you would look at an '80s set future, it would still be big, bulky,
with a splash of what was that? David Hasselhoff with his car with Kit. What's that?
Knight Rider.
Knight Rider. With the splash of Knight Rider.
It's like if you combine RoboCop and Knight Rider and mash it with today's technology, you would get upgraded.
And make a John Wick movie.
Yeah, and make a John Wick movie. Yeah, it's John Wick crossed with Knight Rider and RoboCop.
Yeah.
I say that out loud and I go, that is a weird combination that somehow works.
You'll see that the Knight Rider connection I'm making once you see the stem.
Yes, STEM is pretty much Kit.
It's pretty awesome.
Oh yeah,
it seems like it's got like a little bit of dark comedy mixed into this.
Oh yeah, very dark comedy.
So it seems a little bit self-aware of how ridiculous this whole thing is.
Oh yeah, at one moment where he's like, permission granted, and then he kind of just like does a full Undertaker stand up to his feet. I'm like, oh.
And the cinematography in this thing is crazy.
Yes.
Like the way the camera follows, the shots are amazing. So it looks like a really well directed action dark comedy. It's got a mix of so many crazy things
and it looks really violent as crazy.
Yes. Like
just the knife scene is enough to make you go, oh.
And the ninja joke in it was pretty funny.
Yeah, but it makes your jaw hurt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is coming out in June.
Yes.
I don't remember if this was June 1st.
June. This was June 1st.
Oh, so I mixed up the Meg thing then. I don't know when Meg's coming out now.
I don't. Yeah,
but I don't care anymore. This was the one that was June 1st. I mixed up the due date or the release date.
The due date. You might be right on the Meg because the Meg sounds like it's coming out on a due date. It has to be out by this date.
Oh man.
It doesn't sound like this movie is being made for anything other than it has to be out by a certain window.
Okay, so the Meg is August 10th, and this one's June 1st.
Oh, it's coming out in August?
Yeah, so the Meg is August 10th.
Unlike a Marvel movie,
fix that.
Unlike a Marvel movie, August is like the tail end of summer.
Yeah.
Like when Guardians came out in the summer, it was like, well, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah, August is what February used to be.
Yeah,
January was worse than February.
January is still January.
January's still January. So August is like January.
Yeah, August is like the summer's January.
Yep.
When you get released in August and you're not like, and it's not like a Fast and the Furious or a Guardians or MCU movie where it's like where they can drop these anywhere and because we know they're going to be good. Yeah. Like Black Panther came out in February.
Yeah.
Winter Soldier came out in April.
Mm.
Yeah, it's like those is like the dynamics of like calendar releases is slowly changing. Where it's like a good movie can come out anywhere now.
Yeah, so this is gonna be a nice gem for June 1st, though.
Yeah.
So they got a lot of confidence in this movie, and I have a lot of confidence just from the trailer. So definitely check out the Upgrade.
It's coming out in the second or third weekend of Solo.
Wow. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's pretty nice. Like counter programming there for people that may not go rewatch Solo for the second week and go ahead and check out Upgrade, which is kind of convenient, maybe depending on
It might be an upgrade to your weekend,
depending on how Solo turns out.
You could have that one, Blumhouse.
Oh man! Speaking of, Solo's premiering at Cannes. Is that what you call it?
Yeah, the Cannes Film Festival.
Cannes Film Festival. That's I've never heard of Star Wars premiering there before.
It's a special selection.
Yeah,
it's not in competition or anything.
Yeah,
they're just showing it there.
That's just pretty interesting, though.
Yeah, well, we got Ron Howard doing it, so there you go.
Anyway, move to one that I'm not excited about, and that's the First Purge trailer. We finally got a trailer for this week. Violence and mayhem spread across the nation when the new founding fathers of America test a sociological theory that allows citizens to vent their aggression for one night in an isolated community. Now, what surprised me about this one, and this one actually comes out July 4th this summer. What surprised me about this one is seeing Marissa Tomei. I had no idea she was going to be in this Purge movie. And I think I saw Ethan Hawke return too for a cameo. It doesn't look like
I don't even think it's a cameo. I just think they reused the clip from the First Purge.
Oh, really?
Yes. Because they always reuse Lena Headey's line of "Think of all the good the Purge does," and she's never in any of them.
This is one I've never been a huge fan of this franchise, except for the first two. I thought the first two were great, but then it's just been convoluted since then. And this just looks more.
No, I think what the First Purge was isolated. We were just seeing one family dealing with it.
Right.
The second one was dealing with what we saw in the first one was the Purge coming to someone's house, coming to someone.
Mm-hmm.
In the sequel, we were seeing someone go out the Purge. And the third one, we were seeing the politics behind it all. Mm-hmm. It's a story being told. It was just being told in an out of order sort of way. Like, it all connects. Like, the first Purge movie was about them being courted in by those group of people in the masks,
right?
Which tied into the homeless man story, which he became like a bigger figure in the sequel and the third one, which in turn turned Frank Grillo's character from a vigilante looking for justice to a man on the inside trying to figure out what's going on with it. It actually is building to something, and this first one is showing you how watching the third one, that was our first time seeing an actual kill squad.
Right.
And so this first one is showing you why they're kill squads to begin with. They sowed a seed in election year that they're going to explain in this one.
Okay.
So if you actually pay attention to the Purge movies, there's a political motivation behind the Purge, not just giving people an excuse to kill. And that is, and the political thing behind it is homeless population control. That's why most of the victims of the Purge are homeless people.
Okay.
And they do it every year to try to, and they do it under the guise of letting all crime is legal, because if you kill somebody else and all these bedefined bodies going around, are they really going to look into how they died?
Right.
If you confuse it with death everywhere, it doesn't look like random killings in the street. It doesn't look like executions. It just looks like random killings.
The Purge would never work.
Oh no!
Obviously, the Purge will never work.
And that's why it's a science fiction movie.
No, don't want the fact that any police being able to find all the murders from just this one day and to connect it all to this one day would never work. You would, if you found somebody on that may have died on Purge night, but you find that dead body later on, do you investigate that, or do you just say maybe this was from the
There's a lot. So
they wouldn't work.
There's a lot of plot holes to the Purge.
There is a lot.
But I'm not. But when I go see a Purge movie, I'm not thinking about those things. I'm just like, this is like a interesting world to live in, and it's like watching a Purge movie is like watching a one-day zombie movie.
Right.
What do you do in this one-day zombie movie? You have one day to survive a zombie movie. How do you do it? Yeah. And that's pretty much what the Purge is.
I'm probably gonna check it out, but the election night one was such a terrible one, and then I will
admit election. That
what it's called, election night, not election night.
It was
election year.
Election year, yeah.
Okay.
I'm thinking that one was weak compared to the other two, but I don't consider it bad because it did, like I said, there were plot points that I picked up.
It did what the Saw franchise was doing, which was it was building up to something, and then it just keeps getting more and more complicated, and I don't care about it anymore. I like the concept. I don't need to be so far into the theology of it, I guess.
But the theology actually gives it some kind of weight of how this happened. Yeah. Like this first one is explaining
the politics of it, not the theology.
The politics, because they basically said that America goes broke, and the new founding fathers pretty much buys the country.
Yeah.
So once like they pretty much that's the saying. So how powerful are the new founding fathers? That's what this movie is going to answer as well, because they came in and announce the purge, and then they doing all these new things. It's like, well, what did they do to make this move, and how bad was it for them to be able to make a move like this? I hope the First Purge answers these questions.
Yeah. All right, guys. I'm going ahead and move to our first movie review for the night. First of 3. God's Not Dead, A Light in Darkness. Sorry, I have to remember what the subtitle or whatever you call it is.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So, the Reverend Dave Hill faces an unexpected setback when his beloved church burns down, prompting the officials at the adjoining university to try and kick his congregation off campus. Battle lines are quickly drawn between the church and the community as the Reverend now finds himself at odds with his longtime friend, the president of the school. Facing a legal battle, Hill soon seeks help from his estranged brother, a big city lawyer and atheist, in a fight to help rebuild the church. All right, so just to start out here, I know I noticed there weren't a lot of YouTube. I mean, I watch mostly YouTube reviews. I know there's a lot of written reviews for this movie, but if you look up the YouTube reviews, there's probably, as far as big YouTubers, there's probably just 1 or 2 reviews for this movie, and I think it's kind of unfair because these movies make a lot of money. They usually are in the top 5 for at least a week or 2. If you look at, I can only imagine it's been in the top 5 for a while now.
But I think reason why they don't talk about the God's Not Dead movies all that much, because they feel as though it talks down to people.
That's exactly. That's what I was getting to. That's one of the, well, they don't do it. They don't do it for a lot of religious movies, and that's one of the problems with these faith-based movies, is that usually they're preaching to the choir. And if you watch the first God's Not Dead, I have such huge problems with the first God's Not Dead for how it depicts people that are non-believers. I mean, they even in the second one, they make them out to be villains.
Yeah, they just like make them out to be monsters.
Like, you're either on their side or you're not in the first 2 God's Not Dead movies.
They pretty much kill Kevin Sorbo.
Yeah, they do. They kill Kevin Sorbo.
And they basically say, if you don't believe, it said, if you want to go to heaven, you better believe now. Like, as he lays dying in the street from a car accident.
Yeah.
That's it. At that moment, I was like, no, these aren't for me, because I believe in everything like this, but at the same time, I don't like it. I don't like when a movie goes out of their way to make people who don't believe out to be monsters, when they can be good people on their own. It's not. They don't. It's not right to treat these people that way just because they believe differently from you. It's not. It's not right. It was very gross. It was.
Yeah. So this movie corrects a lot of that. This one's not so. This one actually, it preaches to the choir, but not in the way that the other ones were, where you are the good guys. This one actually preaches to you in a way where it's pointing the finger at the Christians. The Christians that think that they're better than a lot of things, and it teaches you the actual definition. The way even the Bible teaches you what a church is, where this man thinks because this is a public university, even though this church has been there longer than them, he thinks that his church has a right to stay where it's at, even though it's located in the heart of a public university, and the public university wants to do away with that church and build like a community center or something like that. And after the church burns down and he wants to rebuild his church, they think, well, how about we use this as an opportunity now to go ahead and pay for you to get a new church somewhere else off the campus. And he doesn't want to do that. So this movie teaches you about the real biblical definition of what a church is. A church is basically in the Bible, it's like where 2 or more gather, there shall I be, or something. And that's basically, the church is the community, not the building.
Yeah.
So this movie,
people put too much into the actual building,
yes,
and not what it actually means to be a church.
So this is an excellent movie to teach you about, basically, for Christians to watch, to deal with pride, and also it has a good family message. John Corbett, I think that's what his name is, John Corbett. he carries this movie. David O.R. White is a decent actor. He's the center of this movie. He's always been a side character in the first 2 movies, and now they put him in the center of this movie. But John Corbett really he carries this movie. He's funny. He's got a lot. His character is pretty interesting. But like I said, this movie is a lot better than the first 2, and it corrects a lot of the wrongs that the first 2 did, and the bad taste it left in a lot of people's mouths with the first 2. So, because usually, I mean, when people point out the mainstream Christian themed movies, they point to that about how they're more for the Christians, and they don't really try to reach out.
They don't reach across the aisle.
Yeah. So, I didn't really like this movie as much as I liked I Can Only Imagine, because I Can Only Imagine was one of those movies where it can reach across the aisle somewhat, especially
it was like if you didn't believe it's still a good story about the father and son refinding each other and all this.
Where this one has a lot of that. It does. There are still some people that can still kind of point out, because there are still, like, they might think of the people that are at the university as the villains in this movie, but they really aren't. They are trying to do what's best for their college, and they do a good job at showing both sides in this movie, which you don't get a lot of out of movies like in the first God's Not Dead or God's Not Dead 2. They are literally can try to make them out to be villains, where in this one they try to understand both sides, and they do it's just so much of a better make up for those wrongs that they did in those first 2 movies. So, but with that being said, it's still this one's, like I said, it's better directed. The cinematography is not anything special in this movie. The writing is pretty good. There's not a lot of corny jokes that you get a lot of corny jokes in some of the Christian movies. In this one, there's not a lot of corny jokes in it. Some of it seems a little, it's lighthearted and humorous, and it seems more natural and not so forced. So, but with that being said, for a score for this movie, I will give it I'm going to give it a 7.5 out of 10. So not bad. Okay, it's a decent movie. You don't have to go out to a theater. Check it out on Netflix. I think these movies end up going to Netflix usually.
But doesn't PureFlix have their own streaming service?
Or yeah, it's definitely going to be on PureFlix. So if you have a PureFlix subscription, check it out on there whenever it comes out. But I think the first 2 are on Netflix too. So if you don't see them on PureFlix, definitely check it out somewhere on streaming once it's released, or Redbox, one of the 2, or one of the few. Now,
yes. Now from that,
we're going to something very different.
In the completely opposite direction.
In the completely opposite direction.
Blockers.
It's definitely a different.
From the sublime to the ridiculous. Here on the Movie Jam Show.
You go ahead and read this one.
All right. Julie, Kayla, and Sam are 3 high school seniors who make a pact to lose their virginity on prom night. Lisa, Mitchell, and Hunter are 3 overprotective parents who flip out when they find out their daughter's plans. They soon join forces for a wild and chaotic quest to stop the girls from sealing the deal, no matter what the cost.
I didn't watch this one. You got to see this one, and I think I might be jealous. Should I be jealous that I didn't see this one?
Yes.
Okay.
You should be. I heard, and I laughed really hard at this movie. I enjoyed everything about it. It wasn't a gross out comedy like they advertised it. It was actually.
That's what I was worried about.
It has maybe 1 or 2 moments of gross out humor, but it's not like ridiculous gross out humor. It's like, and there's one scene starring Gary Cole and Gina Gershon.
Oh wow,
that is hilarious.
Okay. Gary Cole is always a good. Whenever he tries comedy, he's usually really good.
It's a really funny. It's a very funny scene because like I said, everything in the movie isn't exactly like a contrived plot point. Mm-hmm. They do come up with creative things in this movie. Like, for example, the way the parents find out about the whole thing going on. Like with Apple phones being the way they are, they have a thing called iMessage. Hold on, everyone. My microphone here wants to play with me. I don't want to play with it right now. I'm trying to fix it.
Try to lower the neck and then pull it back.
I'm going to hold it for right now. Okay. And the way it's set up, her phone is connected to a laptop with iMessage.
Mm-hmm.
So any message she gets on the phone
shows up on the computer.
Shows up on the computer, and she takes her phone and leaves without closing iMessage on the laptop first. And they make a point to show you that by showing her in the room with the phone and the laptop at the same time. And when she gets the message on the phone, it pops on the computer. Then she leaves. Yeah. So they don't make it seem like it's like how did they forget that? Because that's how they know, because she forgot. And there's also a plot point going on where Leslie Mann's character is like a newly divorced mother. Oh,
so her and Ike are divorced in this movie.
No, that's the story. They're not. Ike is they weren't together.
Oh, I assumed that they were okay.
They were divorced from two. Their divorces were separate.
Oh,
and the way the story goes, Ike Barinholtz is the one with the glasses daughter.
Oh, okay.
Leslie Mann is the blonde-haired girl's daughter, and John Cena is the other girl's daughter. Yeah. And the way the story it is set up, that she always, since the husband was gone, she's like always had the daughter around. But now that she's 18 and getting ready to go off to college, she wants her to go to a college that's close by, where she actually has plans and gets accepted to UCLA.
Nice.
But then she wants to hide that fact from her mom because she doesn't want her to feel like I'm abandoning her.
Yeah.
So there's one plot thread. The other Ike Barinholtz plot thread is that his wife and him and her got a divorce for different reasons, and he let what happened between her and him affect his relationship with his daughter.
Oh,
so now he's trying to come back and like make sure she has a good prom night and all this and all like that. And John Cena just being the overprotective dad, and I'm telling you, John Cena is great comedic actor.
Really?
He was hilarious that whole movie because he was so straight laced.
Yeah.
He was like the perfect straight man, but then when he let go, it was like he really let go, and it was funny.
Yeah, from the trailer, it looked more like the humor was happening to him, not so much that he was bringing the humor.
Oh, he brings the humor too.
The humor too.
Especially after this one scene they show in the trailer.
Okay, with the bong.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I saw that.
Yeah,
in the red band.
And then he gets drunk afterwards. It's hilarious. But yeah, and there's a plot twist somewhere in there involving one of the girls that I won't spoil. But then it spurs Ike Barinholtz's character to make her to do, like, he has no problem with the pact itself.
Right.
His problem is that he feels that she may do something she may not want to do, but only doing it because her friends are doing it. But it's not be what she wants.
Right.
And it's done in a way where it's like, oh, and everything, and it resolves in a way where no one comes off as bad for wanting to do it. Anybody's not, it doesn't feel like the parents were overreacting or the kids were just being rebellious. It was done in a way where it's like almost sort of realistic, where it's like, yeah, it is 2018, you know, right. It is what it is. If they want to, they can. If they don't, they don't, you know. It's like, it was very unique to see a movie take that route, and I thought it was clever, all the things they did in this movie to make it so it's not just another gross out teen flick comedy.
Right. So it sounds to me like, because there's problems that comedies have with showing so many of their best jokes in the trailer.
Oh, there was some that I did not see coming.
Okay, good.
The way John Cena describes his daughter's boyfriend, you get a lot of good jokes from that one. Because every time they mention his name, he gets mad.
Really? Okay.
And it is like a certain thing that he did the first time he met him, and like every time they use that to goad him into doing something. And it's hilarious every time.
Okay. So the chemistry between the adults in this movie, how was that?
Oh, that was great. They played off each other very well. They actually did feel like friends who drifted apart and are coming back together to solve this problem.
Okay. And now the chemistry. What about the younger?
They were funny. They were very funny as well. The one that you didn't think would be the funniest, John Cena's daughter, she was the funniest.
Really? I saw some stuff that she was saying to a boy in the red trailer.
Yeah,
that was pretty funny.
Yeah, she was hilarious. She was like, since she's like a super athlete, she got like great lung capacity, so she like drag a drag a like vape pen and like hold that for like 2 minutes straight and then blow it all out. He was like, whoa. It was really good. I enjoyed it a lot.
You're saying were you saying John Cena is the standout performer in this movie, or is there any standout performers in this movie?
Oh, John Cena, I knew he could be funny because I'm like I said before, I'm a wrestling fan, so I've actually seen him cut promos and actually be funny in those. Oh, yeah. But for him to like do the stuff he's doing here, it was hilarious.
Okay. All right, so now I think it's time for you to give us a score.
I would give this movie a 8.5 out of 10.
8.5 out of 10.
Yeah, because the beginning drags a little bit. I will warn you about that because it's like setting up them leaving for prom, so it drags a little bit. But once they get to prom, it takes off like a rocket. Okay. So yeah, 8.5 is a good score for me. I would probably check it out again. Because I missed a little bit of it because I had to go to the bathroom, but I didn't. I didn't miss a lot of it, but I did miss something, and I do want to see what I missed.
Okay. All right. So that sounds. I'm definitely going to be trying to check this one out before. What's coming out this coming weekend?
Rampage and something else. Isle of Dogs.
Isle of Dogs. Okay, so Isle of Dogs finally going out to wide release. Okay, so I'm gonna try to watch it before those movies come out. Mm-hmm. And I'm definitely gonna check out both of those two movies.
Yes, me too.
Because I've been waiting to see Isle of Dogs. I know it's doing pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so that's the Blockers movie review.
Now that I'm done speaking, I can tackle this while you get the next one.
I'm gonna go ahead and close out of this one. So guys, if you have seen Blockers, if you have not seen Blockers, let us know your thoughts. If you are excited to see it, or have you seen it, what'd you think of it? Let's have a discussion in the comments, at least with you anyway, until I see it.
Yeah.
All right, guys. So we're going to move to our last review of tonight, and that is for A Quiet Place.
You said it as loud as possible. Most people whisper when they talk about this movie.
Quiet Place. In the modern horror thriller A Quiet Place, a family of 4 must navigate their lives in silence after mysterious creatures that hunt by sound threaten their survival. If they hear you, they hunt you. All right, so we both saw this movie.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you lead this off. What did you think?
Oh, I was on the edge of my seat. I enjoyed this movie very, very much. I enjoyed it a lot. I thought the acting was cool. The way they set things up, the way the creatures were merciless. It was like, oh my, this like if you, it really did make you go. You're in the theater watching it, you go, I don't want to ruffle my popcorn too loud. They'll get me, or I'll get them killed because it was that tense, and I enjoyed it for that.
Okay. Well.
Uh-oh.
I'm normally the contrarian, or sometimes I guess, of this show, but I'm not this time. I love this movie. I absolutely loved this movie.
Nice setup. I thought you were going to be like, well.
Oh man. Yeah, this was. I know this movie had a lot of hype that was attached to it prior to me seeing this movie.
Oh, yeah, there was.
And I was so worried about it letting me down, and it did not.
Oh, it did not. Down. Everything that it promised, the trailer promised everything that this movie was and more.
This movie was 90 minutes long, and it feels like a jog. Like you are. It's paced so well.
Yeah.
John Krasinski's. This isn't his first movie. This is actually his third movie. He did a movie called The Hollers, which was actually pretty good comedy, and Brief Interviews with Hideous Men is another one that's actually a pretty good movie too. But this is definitely his first big mainstream movie, and oh my gosh, he knocked it out of the park. Exactly. My thoughts. He is definitely going to be a director to look out for.
Yeah, because I was like, because the whole ASL thing, the whole mechanic of him using the whole mechanic of him being in the basement sending out static SOSs, not even beeps, just static SOSs. It was like he thought of every little detail you could think of.
Now, the thing that this family had going for it, or the advantage that this family has, is that they have a daughter who's deaf, and the actress, Millie Simmons, who's actually a deaf actress, she was amazing in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Both Noah Jupe, who is also really good, and Wonder and Suburbicon, excellent. The children actors in this movie were really good.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what the advantage that this family had was that they already knew sign language
From raising a deaf child.
Yeah, from raising a deaf child going into this. So as far as their communication, they were already there. As far as how they were going to be able to communicate in utter silence, in complete silence. I mean, literally, complete silence is what you need for this to survive in this.
Like, you don't wear shoes in this movie.
Yeah, nobody. That was the other thing that was so well thought out and well planned for this movie was the way that they made sure that this family was able to survive in silence by walking bare feet everywhere. When they ate, they didn't eat on plates. They ate on like leaves. They ate off of like lettuce and leaves and stuff. And whenever they played their games, their game pieces were little pieces of cloth. Like that was so.
And then when you rolled the dice, you rolled them on top of like a towel.
Yeah, everything was so well planned out. But what I was worried about going into this was the fact that you leave yourself vulnerable as far as a storytelling trope to jump scares. But every jump scare, there were some jump scares, but they paid off. Every single one of them paid off. You knew anytime that there was a slight chance of a jump scare, that monster's going to be somewhere around the corner. And then the monster in this movie was, because Industrial Light and Magic, I think is the name of the studio that did the monster animation, is so real. I mean, this is Michael Bay produced, so you know that the special effects is going to be top notch. And so the animate, or the way that they brought this monster to life, it kind of at first made me think of Venom. Did you get Venom vibes at all when you first saw him?
No, when I first saw the creature, I actually thought more of the Demogorgon from Stranger Things.
Demogorgon? I had a little bit of a Demogorgon-ish, but I thought more of the like this was like a rejected Venom. But he looked not rejected in a bad way.
What you mean, the host rejected?
Yes.
And it was mad.
Yes.
The symbiote was acting alone. I know what you meant. Yeah.
But my gosh, and you know, in a lot of these movies, and where you have the two main leads in the movie, if they're like a couple, if they're an actual married couple, sometimes they lack chemistry. And they did not. There was chemistry right away, right out the gate in this movie. You believe Emily Blunt and John Krasinski are a husband and wife, and are the parents to these kids.
Yes,
that's another thing that a lot of problems because this isn't a straight up horror movie. This is more of a thriller than it is a horror.
It's a family drama thriller with a horror edge.
Yes, with a horror edge. And a lot of these, even some of the really good horror movies like the Conjuring and stuff, the families feel more like cannon fodder, where you don't really care about them. You just want to you like seeing what happens, and the story's kind of cool. Where this is, you feel for this family right out the gate.
Yeah, the way they set this movie up, like at the very beginning, like when after all the movie logos and everything starts, you're dropped into this movie. It's like you could just hear nothing, and it's like, oh my, this is like, it's like just the sound of nothing is terrifying.
Yes, and the cinematography in this, there's one particular, it's amazing cinematography, but the one scene that really got me, even emotionally, and it was just from the camera work, was a scene with John Krasinski and his daughter having a conversation about her hearing aid, and the way that the shot is shot emotionally, and you can feel it. It brings you right into the situation, and it makes you feel so much of what's happening in that scene just from the camera work, and it's amazing. It's a beautifully shot movie. John Krasinski is definitely one of the best directors out there working right now. It seems like just from this movie, and I mean, like I said, go check out The Hollers. It's a really great. It's a totally different movie from this, but it's a really great comedy movie.
Yeah, one of my favorite scenes in this movie was at the waterfall.
Oh, yes. Oh, yeah, with John Krasinski and Noah Jupe. That's their scene together.
Yeah, and I thought the boy sold the panic perfectly. Yes. He's sitting there with his dad, and his dad does something. He's like, what are you doing? Yes, yeah. We are going to die now. Yeah. And he's like, And then he's like trying to reassure him, no, it's okay.
Right.
We can talk here. It's like, and even then, they even showed you like, how does this work? And then they filmed it in a way, and it showed you how it worked. It was like, that's genius, because you could just buy anything if a character tells you,
right?
But it helps to see it.
Yeah.
And by us seeing it in that moment, it actually said, "Oh, he's done this before. He knows what he's talking about."
Mm-hmm. But you see, because the movie starts on what, like day 80 something?
Day 89.
Day 89, and then
something happens.
Something happens, and then we jump to day 430 something.
Yeah, like so. Basically, we see like 90 days in, something happens, and then we jump to a year later.
Yeah, so you see where
how
much they've learned and how much
what's that event changed everything.
Yes,
too.
Changed everything for them, because it's oh my gosh, the movie's set up so well.
And they set up things early in the movie that you're not paying attention. What's this for? And then when you get there, it's like, oh, that's what that's for.
Right.
Like the crib.
Oh yes, the crib. Yeah, there. Like I said, everything is so well planned out, and you see how important John Krasinski's role as the father
and protector of this family is.
Yes, and that's another thing, another element to this movie that carries it out of being just a genre movie. This movie, it I don't know. It's so good, and it's one of those movies you have to watch again and again, and you'll pick up more and more of these little things that was so
like
well
even the
planned
sound design in one.
Yes, that yeah.
There was one scene that the sound design was so cool. It was like there was a scene where he's like tinkering with the radio, and she just comes in behind him and like hugs him. And you stand up and she sees she's got like an iPod in her ear, like listening to music through her iPod.
Oh yes.
And then she takes it out of her ear, and then when he puts it in his ear, we're hearing it like at full volume instead of just like at the muffled sound of like they usually do.
Right.
Like it makes sound so much more important. Like we're in this moment with them now.
Yeah, because the way any time that the camera or the film focuses on a certain character, you're hearing everything basically from their perspective. When it switches to the daughter's perspective in the movie, it's utter silence.
Yeah,
you'll know the difference between silence and quiet.
Yes,
from this movie.
Yeah, quiet is like you can still hear the breeze.
Yes,
silence is just.
Yeah. So yeah, it's so
like me and him could stop talking right now, and it would not match the silence you would hear when she was on screen.
So yeah, if this movie gets nominated for anything, it's got to be sound design.
The sound design was
directing. I mean, and the acting, like I said.
Yeah,
this movie needs to make. I hope this is still in the mention for Oscar considerations at the end of the year.
The Monopoly scene alone made me my heart skip a beat.
Yeah,
because it was such a simple thing.
Yeah,
but the fact that it has such dramatic ramifications, and it's like, and even the payoff was a little comedic.
Yeah.
But then it still had that. Oh, but nope, they heard that. They heard it. Yeah.
But there were a few jump scares that were cheap. If I'm nitpicking, there's one like a bloody hand on a window style jump scare that I felt was cheap, but it was forgivable because of everything else around this movie.
Every movie gets one pass on something.
It gets one pass. And then, but even, there's the very end of the movie, something happens that kind of hit me the wrong way, but when I keep looking at it again and again in my head, I think it's an okay. Do you know what I'm talking about with Emily Blunt at the very end of the movie? Yeah, I thought that looked silly in the theater, but I thought about it more and more, and I'm more okay with it now.
I think what that was meant to show you was that for the first time since this happened, they're not afraid.
Yeah, that's kind of that's
a little bit of for the first time they're not hiding, they're fighting back.
Yes, that was a little bit of what I was
like. They they looked at the dry erase board, they looked at each other, they looked at the radio, and then I'm like, oh, well, Yep. Man, looks like it's not gonna be such a quiet place anymore.
But yeah, there's, like I said, the relationship between every single character in this movie's relationship with each other is well developed and is an important element to each other. Like I said, the relationship between the brother and the sister, the relationship between the daughter and the mother, son and the father, and everybody's relationship with each other is important in this, is an important element in this movie. And that's why, like I said, this is 90 minutes, and he was able to establish all of that. It's how well paced and well planned out this movie was.
Mm-hmm.
So, with that being said, like I said, the sound design, cinematography, everything is pitch perfect.
This is like a near perfect movie.
I can't think. Like I said, there are some things that were like I had problems with, but they are just minimal, microscopic. Enough for me to go ahead and just give this a 10 out of 10.
I'm right there with you, 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
I enjoyed this movie a lot. I thought that it was well done. The trailers advertised the movie exactly. It didn't spoil anything. It had left me on the edge of my seat the whole time.
Yeah.
And I was like, yes, this is what it needs. We need more of this.
Yeah. So to get the full impact of this movie, I recommend going and seeing this movie right away in a theater.
Go blind.
Yes.
If go blind, don't look it up, don't do anything, just watch it as is.
Yep.
And I just thought about it. We're gonna get the exact opposite next week too.
Really?
Truth or Dare.
Oh yeah, Truth or Dare.
That looks interesting though.
It looks interesting. Yeah, it looks like an interesting concept. It's Blumhouse, which it can go either way with Blumhouse. But.
Yeah, but Blumhouse has gotten better here lately.
Oh yeah.
His worst movie was Amityville, but that was more to do with a lot of other things going on around it, more so than the actual movie itself.
But the other thing about back to A Quiet Place,
mm-hmm.
This isn't necessarily a concept that we're not completely familiar with. If you watched I think it's about almost 2 years now. Just Breathe or Don't Breathe.
Yeah,
Don't Breathe. That was similar, but this is still. I mean, that was a great movie too. That one I still give a 9.5 out of 10. But this one this one takes it another step, and it's just
where Don't Breathe was a house. This is the world.
Yeah, but we're also Don't Breathe. The characters make stupid decisions. This one, they don't make stupid decisions in this movie. Everything is very, very well planned and well. I mean, like I said, this family seems to know
what to do.
And you are just taken along for the ride, which is excellent.
Mm-hmm.
So, like I said, this is one of my favorites of the year now.
Yeah, even going back to what you said about how everything was planned out. Even the scene where the little boy was playing inside of something paid off later in the movie.
Yes. Oh yeah. I
was like, he was like, it looked like he was just like mimicking something, but no. Then you look at it later, it's like he's practicing.
Yeah. And then there's a scene with some fireworks that it took a minute for me to realize that was something that was always planned out for this thing with fireworks.
Yeah, it was meant to be. It's meant to be like a distraction.
Yeah, for the event that occurred.
Yeah.
Which I don't want to spoil what the event is, but it's just a thing with a gas mask too, or I guess it's not really a mask, but it's like a medical gas mask. I didn't know what that was going to be until later on. I saw, oh my gosh, that was even planned out for something.
Yeah, everything had a point in this movie. There was no. Yeah. This movie does not have a get out of jail free card.
Nope.
This movie was planned out. Even the one thing that winds up turning the tide, it may feel like a get out of jail free card, but at the same time, it was not nothing they were looking for.
Yeah.
It just was a happy accident.
Yeah. So like I said, like you're going to. If you watch this movie and don't somehow feel emotional for the characters in this movie, then I don't know something's wrong. I guess
you're dead in here. Yeah. You're dead in here.
This is one of the first horror movies. Like I said, it's not a full-on horror movie, but the horror thriller movie that you actually can feel something for these characters.
You actually when when they're in danger, you go, oh no, 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 no.
And this movie pulls no punches.
Oh no.
There's full on stakes in this movie.
Oh yeah. This is one of those you truly mess up once movies, you're dead scenarios.
Yeah. So
they teach you that lesson early on.
Yeah.
you think it's gonna be one of those. Oh no! He's gonna get, and then it happens. It's like no, not this. Ain't that movie?
Nope. So
it teaches you that lesson.
Nobody is safe in this movie, and you need.
There is no power of the main character.
So yeah, the movie. There's a lot of gut punches in the movie. Is what I'm getting at.
Oh yeah.
And so
your stomach's gonna hurt from all the gut punches.
Yeah. So, anyways, I think that's enough for this review.
We want to spoil this movie so bad, but we're not gonna. And we're not doing a spoiler review either for that reason. We want people to experience this movie the way we experienced it. Mm-hmm. So we just give you vague hints and things, but we're not on telling you what's happening. No. And we want you to feel it like we felt it for the first time. Yep.
Well, anyways, guys, have you seen A Quiet Place? What'd you think of it? If you have, are you going to go see this movie this week? Let us know. And like I said, we'd love to talk about it with you on Twitter or on here, anywhere. But anyways, guys, that has been our show. This is episode 27 of the Movie Champ Show. And go ahead and throw our names up here. I am Walker Cheatham. You can find me on all the social medias at Walker Cheatham.
I'm EJ Flemming. You can find me at all the social medias at GeekChampsEJ.
Yeah. And anyways, guys, this has been the Movie Champ Show. Make sure you check out our last episode if you haven't. Also, check out some of our movie reviews from last week that are down there. Make sure you hit the subscribe button.
I'm trying to match your points from a different angle.
Make sure you hit the subscribe button. That's right here.
Down there in the corner.
Anyways,
down
guys,
there.
We will see you next week. Goodbye.
Peace.